All right, I'd like to welcome everybody out to our essential oil online spotlight for tonight. Our essential oil tonight is DDR Prime. This is an amazing oil. There's lots to share with you. So I'll turn the time over to Jade to tell us all about DDR Prime.
Thank you, Ben. I'm really grateful that you can all make it today, and grateful for the people who are listening to our podcast right now. So this is a very special oil, DDR Prime. Okay, it's a blend. All right, so it comes in these two forms. So I'll give you a quick summary and then I'll ask you for your personal experiences, because these stories really help people just apply it to their own lives. Okay, so it helps with cellular support, helps with estrogen and progesterone, helps with cleansing the gut and organs, helps with inflammation, brain and cognitive, and emotionally it helps with transformation. Alrighty, so anybody here on the call with DDR Prime stories to share?
I know there's lots of stories with this one.
Nick?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we have started using this in recent months. So Sienna has epilepsy, genetic epilepsy. She's 6, our little daughter. And she was having, she's come off her medication, but she was having some funny little turns and things. So we added the DDR Prime to her daily regime, just on the bottom of her feet and down her spine. And I have noticed since that we've used that oil on her daily, she did scan for it as well, that she's not having these funny head things, and she hasn't had any seizures. So I just have noticed that difference in her, and it was since we added the DDR.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Yeah. And Beck, how long has she been off her medication?
So she's been off it since completely since January. So we did have one small little seizure, but very, very small one. But as soon as we added the DDR after she had that one, and we just increased, and we just were a little bit more, thorough with using it and consistent. She hasn't had anything, and she hasn't had any funny turns. So that last turn was the beginning of March, and we're heading to July. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say that it's cured her, but I have noticed a difference in her brain, and just, for her, it's made a difference.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yep. So if I may share a little bit, so you've been using essential oils on her for a while, and then around the beginning of this year, you decided, hey, she's well enough that she probably can go without that medication, right? So you felt confident.
So this was also under the guide of her pediatrician. Uh-huh. So she had gone 2 years without a seizure on her medication. So under the guidance of the pediatrician, he's like, let's start weaning her off. So we did that in conjunction with her specialist. Mm-hmm. And he also knows that we're using the oils with her, and he's happy for us to do that. He's like, just keep doing what you're doing. But we weren't using the DDR initially. We were just using some other brain oils like the sandalwood. Mm-hmm. But I did notice after that one small turn she had, as soon as we added the DDR, that was kind of like a bit of a key for her.
Fantastic. I love it. Love that story. Yeah, we have a lot of experience with the DDR Prime too, and it's phenomenal. Anybody else want to share? Debbie?
You have on here brain and cognitive, and I really thought of DDR Prime as a real support for cellular health. And yet we're seeing a lot of results with really focus issues. It's become my go-to for ADD. I'm not sure why, because peace has been a real blessing. But DDR prime has some real benefits for brain cognitive, and it surprised me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing some real benefits for ADD and ADHD.
It's like another piece of the puzzle that you think, oh yeah, duh, of course, that makes sense. But you just didn't think to use it before then. Like Beck, we've had friends, and a friend that recently her son has had no seizures since he started with the essential oils. He's had it for, he's 20-something years old, so he had it for 19, 20 years. Really big seizures. That, makes him incapacitated for a while. And I said, maybe try, these oils for brain, and then maybe try the DDR prime on top of everything. And it's been really powerful for her. I think the challenge for all of us is because it's so easy to do, it's so easy not to do. And we forget. And then when something happens, we think, oh, I should have been doing it more consistently. That's how it is with essential oils and natural things. It's just very subtle and no fanfare, and it's doing its job, but we don't recognize what it really is doing for us. Alrighty, so
I missed the first part. I'm sorry, I missed the first part of what you said. How is she applying it for the seizures? Is it just on the spine, or?
Yeah, she did it on the spine, and I believe with Beck, oh, here she is. Beck, go ahead and you tell her. How are you using it for Sienna? Oh, wait, unmute. Oh, there.
So Sienna's 6.5. So I filled up a 10 ml roller bottle and I put 30 drops of the DDR, which is almost a third of the bottle, and I put some Copaiba in that for her too. And then I put it on the bottom of her feet and really rub it into the big toe for her brain, and I do it up and down her spine. So she has that before school and she has that after in the evening. And if she's at home in the day, I might do it again, in the middle of the day. I also did at the beginning, she didn't really love it, but I put a drop in her water to go to school. But she's not really loving that. So I'm like, look, just let's leave that and just put it topically on her, and she can have something else like the lime or the lemon in her water. So that's how we use the DDR with.
All right, fantastic.
Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Yep, and Chris, she actually attracts people that need it in this particular way. So it seems like it's her calling. So I'm glad that you're on this call, Chris. Alrighty. So in my opinion, DDR prime is very important and essential for every modern family. Modern as in because we live in this society where there's just so much toxin around, and you don't realize it until you look at the different ingredients and what it really can do. An example is like the triclosan, which is, it's rat poison in hand sanitizers. And you see it all the time, everywhere you go. And it's really damaging. So DDR is designed to help protect your body against oxidative stress and damage to cells, to the DNA. Basically it helps with cell biogenesis, cell function, and cell renewal. All right. And I did a really basic research on the individual oils in this blend, and I only scratched the surface, and I was blown away with all the research. So I've just put a few here.
We'll show everybody all that.
Yeah, Ben's going to scroll down.
So there's a bunch of research. Oh, there you go.
Yep.
So there's 32 different articles that you can look at.
Yeah, so I'm so excited about this because there's so many people that we can help, and there's so much hope too. So, okay, so we've got clove, thyme, wild orange. So those help provide that antioxidant, okay, against oxidative stress. And then we have frankincense, right? That's why it helps with the brain. Lemongrass, summer savory, and niaouli. It's niaouli, I think. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but niaouli is a type of melaleuca plant. So some people think that it's interchangeable, but we know that Melaleuca does a lot of wonderful things, and if it's in the same family, it probably does very similar things too. So that makes sense. Okay, so there's a ton of studies, but you can see that there's 7 oils in here. But these 7 oils, they have such powerful abilities to protect the cells. And I'll have a little diagram down here, somewhere here. So we have to prevent DNA damage, and we have to help with healthy apoptosis, which is self-destruct in the cells, and then oxidative stress. And, I don't think that this little graph does it, justice, because some of these oils can do multiple things. So with preventing DNA damage, it's frankincense, thyme, lemongrass. Okay, with healthy apoptosis, lemongrass again, clove, and niaouli. And then we have oxidative stress, which is orange and summer savory. But, the clove can be under the oxidative stress too. So, but just reading about each oil, I'm like, oh, it does all of these things. But I can see why they want to concentrate and just make it basic for everyone to understand what we're trying to achieve with this oil. The more I study about it, the more I'm just confounded by the amazing power of essential oils. And yet it's so simple, and it teaches me a lot of things too about just health in general. And so very, very grateful for this opportunity. Alrighty, so DDR Prime comes in 2 forms. One is the 30 ml bottle. It's the larger bottle because it's something that's designed for you to use often in your home. So it's not your regular 15 ml bottle, okay? And if you run it, if you use this up, I would keep that bottle because it's wonderful to put a little spray top onto it. Okay, it's slightly bigger than your 15 ml, and you don't have that many of these bottles around. And then you have your 60 soft gel supplement bottle. It's just it's easy to use. It's just a form.
So same exact oils.
Same exact oils, 2 different forms, and we'll explain how and why we can use them differently, and how we can benefit them.
Yeah, I think it's kind of significant. This is the only essential oil that comes in the 30 ml bottle. Everything else is either 10, 15, or 5.
Yeah. Alrighty. So cellular support is one of the main things, and I want to help you understand the 3 jobs of cells. If we can understand it at this kind of basic level, it doesn't have to be overcomplicated, and you can reapply this knowledge over and over and over again. All right, so the first job is duplication, so it copies itself. Okay, so a cell's supposed to have, copies itself as it goes along. And then it has a specialized function. So if it's a skin cell, it should look like skin. If it's an eye cell, it should do the job of the eyes. And then the third job is apoptosis, which is self-destruction. So at the end of its life, the cells should just trigger self-destruct, and then make room for new cells. Okay. So that's basically it. I mean, we have old dead cells all the time as we wash our hair, our skin, our face. We have old dead cells come off, and that's a normal thing. But what happens when your cells mutate because of toxins, because of some sort of stress or damage, and it keeps duplicating its mutated self? We call that cancer. We call that tumor, and then other names too. I have a link for our cancer protocol and call there. So if you're interested in that, you can read all about it. And it can be, oh, thanks, Ben. He's clicking it onto it. And, any type of cancer or malfunctions of the cells, okay, there it is.
Yeah. So for any of you that are, want to get some information, if you have family or friends that are going through this, there's a lot of information here. We had that call a little while ago.
Yep. Yeah.
And also there's a inflammation link down below.
So I'm just going to refer to it as cell malfunction. Okay, so you have for breasts, for the cervix, prostate, skin, lungs, bladder, kidneys, mouth even. Okay, so there's lots of ways that your body can malfunction, is the cells in your body can malfunction. And then, you know, in my mind, it's a dis-ease, you're not being at ease, and it's just a misalignment. You're misaligned because you're not being in alignment to your purpose, to your divine path. All right, so as soon as we can realign, people start healing and becoming healthy again. All right, so with a proper diet, rest, and mental change, the DDR Prime will work wonders for you. So I'll pause for a moment. Anybody here want to add to this, say anything? Make sense? So just understand those 3 ways. All right, so I'll share with you a story. So it's a friend of my mom's. Her brother had a big tumor under his chin, and she said it was the size of his fist. And he's way too old, and he's in the country. The doctors don't want to, you know, fix him and help him out, and because they think he's going to die anyways. So the sister said, is there anything we can do? So in my head, I thought, well, 3 jobs of cells. Okay, obviously it's duplicating wrong, because that's not what your neck should look like. So I sent her to 2 of each. I told her to send it to her brother, and I told her to have him dilute this a little bit, rub it on the area that he's hurting or that is affected, and then take 2 of the DDR Prime internally. Because I know that if you have like these rogue cells, it's not just in one place. It may manifest in one place, but you know, it's in your body. It's in all over your body. So we needed to take care of it in a systematic way, and then also in a concentrated on location way as well. So we did this, and she came back 2 months later, and she said it's the size of a pea. So it was the size of his fist, but now it's the size of a pea. And I knew that it helped trigger natural apoptosis, right? And then, you know, with the these oils, I learned that the different oils go in to the cells in different pathways, and some will be inside, and then it does its job from the inside out. Some oils will go from the outside in, but all of it kind of protects healthy cells. It helps encourage repair for cells that are sick, and then it helps encourage apoptosis for cells that are beyond repair. So, I mean, that makes sense to me, and it makes things so much simpler, because people will come to me all the time and say, here's a big fancy long name for this problem. And I look it up and I'm like, oh, okay, it's a cellular malfunction in the lungs, or in the prostate or the cervix or whatever it is. And well, okay, the same deal. Here it is. We do the same things. We cleanse, we do lifelong vitality pack, and we rub it on topically near the location, so the oils are concentrated in that area. And then of course we have to with, as I said, proper diet, mental change, and rest, miracles happen. So I have had lots of wonderful texts from people telling me, hey, my brother so-and-so, he's in hospital for this time, and then now it's been 6 months, 7 months, now he's home and he's happy and he's well and he's booking a flight on a holiday or whatever. And I'm all, I love it. I love hearing those stories, and I think that's just amazing. And it's not me, it was them doing it themselves and helping themselves. So that's very rewarding to be part of their journey. Alrighty, anyone want to add to this, say anything so far? Alrighty, so cell protection, what do you do? So 4 to 6 drops of this, okay, and you want to, or you can do 2 to 4 soft gels internally daily. So you can do it, you split it up twice a day, 3 times a day, okay, and take that internally and rub it on topically. So I just want to remind people that DNA does not necessarily determine your health. The science of epigenetics kind of proves that it's all about your energy or intelligence that determines how that DNA functions. So you can look up epigenetics and kind of see that, because it gives you hope. So you're not going to give in and say, well, that's how I was born. Okay, because there's ways that we can change it and affect it. Okay, so one of the research I read, I thought, oh, this is really cool to quote here. It says, the common treatment for cancer is unfavorable because it causes many detrimental side effects. And lately, there has been a growing resistance towards anti-cancer drugs, which worsens the future of cancer treatment. So therefore, the focus is now shifted towards natural products, such as spices and plants, among many others, to save the future of cancer treatment. So there's the link to that. Okay, you can click on that and read more about it. But these guys are heading the right directions for so many years. People collect money for cancer research, and they get kind of annoyed because they ask the wrong questions, and then which means they put their money in the wrong places. You know, it's like, what drug? What new drug? And I'm all, okay, good luck there. So anyways, this is exciting. People are waking up, okay? What do you guys think? Hooray.
Yeah. Absolutely,
Yeah.
hooray.
Yeah. One of the ways I've been able to explain it well to people, where they kind of grasp it a little bit more when it comes to cancer treatments, is, you know, everything that they're coming up with for cancer is man-made. It's synthetic. And, you know, everything's, you know, got its place, but with this, the body is pure, it's natural. And it has these built-in defense modes to protect it from anything that isn't natural, that isn't recognized as its own. So with the oils, because they are pure, because they are natural, they are accepted, so they're allowed to penetrate these cellular barriers and heal and get in there. And that's why a lot of these cancer treatments have such a hard time, because they're synthetic, so the body is fighting it to keep it out. So they either have to wipe you clean, like just completely destroy an entire system so it can regenerate, or they attempt to replace it, which then the body forgets how to do it on its own because it's synthetically doing it for it. So that's where, you know, they have such a hard time. So explaining, like, with the body being natural and this being natural, it actually just recognizes it as its own and allows it to penetrate those walls that are built to keep anything that isn't natural and synthetic out. So that's where it becomes so powerful in healing something that is so detrimental to many.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
but that's just one way that seems to make more sense. You know, it's a simple way of just explaining how it works, and it seems to be the best way I've come to find, at least with people I work with, that makes sense. Suddenly it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense, that clicks.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well done, well said. I really like it. And I want you to know that Chris has really been, it's an amazing instrument. Her experience is, I think, world record for your mum's type of cancer, right now. She's the longest living person with the disease that she has. It's a form of brain cancer, and you know, she is out there sharing that message, helping people really get it, because you know, there's no mistake if it's not a coincidence that your mom has lived this long with such a disease. People die within a year, and your mom's been alive for 15, right?
it's about 12 or 13 now.
12 or 13.
Yeah. But you know, she was stage 4, inoperable, 2 months to live. Mm-hmm. And even when you find it in stage 1, most people, they're lucky 2 years is kind of the max, even if they catch it early. Mm-hmm. So no one believes me when I tell them what she had and how long, and the fact that she's still alive and, you know, up and moving, you know, around and kicking. No one believes me. They're like, there's no way it was that then. There's no way. I'm like, oh, but it was. Trust me. Like, we did the research. But that, you know, is one of the biggest, you know, everything happens for a reason, you know, God's plan. Because, you know, now for the last 13 years, my entire focus has been cellular regeneration and brain health and reversal of, you know, those chronic and life-threatening illnesses. And what has come of that as a result of her. So the amount of lives that she has now helped me save and impact is, too many to count at this point. The amount of stories that are just, goosebump, giving, because, she had to go through this terrible thing, which is awful, but it spurred so many other lives. And, so kind of just, letting her know, I've reminded her of that. Like, I know that this has been a tough road, but like, you're still here, but so are so many other people because of you. And it's just the most humbling thing that could have morphed my entire life and career and, everything else. So,
amazing, guys. Did you want to just cry? Just so happy. Oh, and the stories she tells of kids, very young kids that are having that same disease now. And you think, oh, I have something, don't worry, I have something. That's exciting.
Yeah.
This is why we're here. This is why we're in this group together.
Yeah.
So,
and even Alzheimer's, you're now seeing these commercials of like, you could be the first Alzheimer patient to live. And it's like, hi, I have quite a few actually that, we've brought back. So like time out, wait, I could tell you some stories. They're out there, they're alive and kicking, they're good. So,
yeah, that's right. We got to just push forward with this message. So healthy apoptosis is what we're really focusing on. Okay, so if those cells are healthy cell apoptosis, so that means if the cells are unhealthy, it just naturally triggers self-destruct instead of forcing it with synthetics like what Chris was saying, hey, let's just give you all these synthetics and die out everything. So with just 4 to 6 drops or 2 soft gels twice a day. And, if you feel like you need more, like Beck was saying, she's like, oh, you know what, I need to put a little bit extra in. And she did so, and it really works. So this is just a safe, conservative ballpark, but go ahead and use more if you need to. All right, so if you're going to dilute and roll it on instead of taking it internally, you can do 1-to-1 ratio to start with, and then you can make it more concentrated if you feel like it, okay? So this will be up to you and your level of health, and then just encourage you to be intuitive in that way. Alrighty, so every cell has a natural self-destruction just to help, the cells that are beyond repair. All right, and it's mutated. All right, so when it doesn't do that, remember, if it doesn't do that, it becomes cancerous and tumorous and everything else. All right, so there's a bunch of research here just to give you that confidence that you're using something that has been tested and proven to really work, okay? So estrogen and progesterone, you don't think of this, but it helps you on that cellular level cleanse out your cells of the xenoestrogens that have damaged your cells, and your cells can be able to produce the chemicals again, the hormones again. And beyond estrogen and progesterone, there's other hormones too, like your metabolic hormones. For people who have diabetes, they don't have that production that's going to be helping them balance. So that helps to detoxing. Check out the oils. It's clove, lemongrass, orange, thyme. Those are detoxing oils. Okay, some are savory. So you can see that even if you're taking this oil and you're trying to help with your cells and your DNA, it's naturally detoxing you. Okay, so you are going through some sort of detox anyways. And this is why it's part of the cleanse and restore. And, they're conservative. They're pretty conservative. I would do more if I am especially ill. Okay, so this blend has clove. And remember, clove is one of the most powerful antioxidants on earth. So, of course, it helps stop that free radical from damaging the cells further. So, an example I use often is that when my kids go swimming in the chlorinated swimming pools, after they come out, we bathe them and then rub the DDR prime on, because, we might have just this toxin in their system that we really don't want it to create more problems. And so we do preventative and take preventative measures that way. Anybody want to say something, add anything to this? Alrighty. Inflammatory response. I will talk about that further as we kind of touch onto arthritis a little bit down later on. But you know, your body has this inflammation for a reason. It doesn't have this autoimmune problem because it feels like malfunctioning. All right, it does know what it's doing, and what we can do about that is use the DDR prime, 4 to 6 drops, and add 3 to 4 drops of copaiba oil to that. So you can take it internally or you can rub it on, but you need to do it at least 2 to 4 times a day just to help, you know, because the oils metabolize so quickly in your system, you want it to keep the oils in. Alrighty. The DDR prime has been tested, and a few years ago I learned that it beat the top 5 prescribed anti-inflammatory drugs out there. So that's pretty powerful. Okay, and we have a whole thing called a post on inflammatory response, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. Alrighty, so brain and cognitive functions. All right, so when I say cognitive functions, we're talking about the memory problems. You know, like Chris was saying, Alzheimer's, dementia, okay. Kids that have ADD, ADHD, and even autism, even seizures. There's a lot of toxins in our cells, and a lot of it can accumulate in the brain. So what these oils can do is help it cleanse, and then help it repair the cells again, and then the brain cells will function better, okay? So that encourages proper function. Sorry?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been buying this DDR Prime supplement for my grandma-in-law, and she's been, I think you could say that she's starting to get dementia because she's constantly repeating the same question, and also she's got inflammation in her knees and in lots of body parts. And I feel like sometimes it's very hard for an old person to make a change. So I thought, you know, if I could get her to take one thing, then it would be DDR Prime capsules, soft gels. So when she did start taking the DDR soft gels, she was more lucid. Like she seemed like more normal than usual, and her knees felt better as well. So yeah, so I'm just going to continue to buy this for her, as well as Deep Blue Rub for her knees.
Yeah, that's really good. And you know, it's like what you said, you know, sometimes they're so sick and you think, where do I start? This is one of the best ways to start. It's overall, it helps with so much that you really can't go wrong. So it's a good place to start. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jamie. Okay, so that's brain function, and I'm really glad that Beck jumped on for a few minutes there and shared her story. Okay, so oral cleaning. Okay, some people might not realize that, but you know, it's fantastic oil for you to oil pull. So oil pulling is like using the virgin coconut oil, putting a couple of drops of the essential oils in. So 2 to 3 drops of the DDR Prime onto your spoon with the virgin coconut oil, and put it in your mouth, swish it about 10 minutes or so, and then you can spit it out in the toilet. So it helps cleanses the tissues in your mouth, the gum, and you know, your tongue. It might even whiten your teeth. So, but it will help detox the rest of your body. So people that have any sort of cancer in the gums, oral health, you know, just red gums, bleeding gums, this is going to be fantastic for that repair. Okay, so great oil for that. Sometimes we don't think of that, but it's fantastic. All right, so for the throat, do have people have not just the sore throats, but the cells are damaged there. So you can gargle 2 to 3 drops of the DDR Prime, and then you can even swallow. So gargle with it and then swallow, so it can go down the throat, right? The key is to do it consistently. So the next thing here is digestion. You can see clove is great for digestion. Thyme is great too, and orange, great for gut and tissues. So if anybody has some sort of gut problem, so I have friends that have leaky gut or irritable bowel syndrome or Crohn's, all that, you know, I can bet that because of years and years of that problem, you have DNA damage in there. So I would suggest that you add the DDR prime to whatever it is that you're doing to help the tissues down there repair. So 2 to 4 soft gels a day of DDR prime, and then add 2 to 4 of the Digest Zen as well. Okay, if you've had prolonged problems, I would do those too. And consider using Terrazyme, because Terrazyme will break up the food and repair the tissues in there. So your raw skin tissues in there is not so agitated with the food that you eat. So that's really important. Just understand what it is that your health issue is. So whatever the fancy name is, look at it and say, hey, this is the digestive system problem. Let's fix that system, okay? So don't be bent on owning that disease, owning that name, because it's just a name to tell you a group of symptoms that your body is struggling with. Okay, so the last one is skin issues. So if you've got things on your skin that's not meant to be there, sort of a funny looking brown spot, raised, irregular shape, just dilute 1-to-1 DDR prime fractionated coconut oil in a roller bottle like this, okay, and rub it on any of those skin imperfections. Repeat 4 to 5 times a day for as long as you need. And it shouldn't be too long, actually. So within about a month or so, you can see a big change. All right, I'll pause here. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Any questions or comments?
I have a comment on the skin. My husband had initially it was just a shaving. He just shaved his neck off basically, and he had a good sized one there. And then he kept doing it, and it really grew a growth there. And he's used all kinds of things, but DDR prime has been one of them. And then every morning he's out here breaking or cracking open apricot pits to get the seed out, and that's got Laetrile in it, which is really, really supportive for cellular health too. And so, but he's used the DDR prime there, and I noticed yesterday that it's almost healed completely, and it looks so much better. So DDR prime on the skin is really helpful. Will it help with moles, Jade? What's your thought there?
I'm not sure. Just
we have had success with skin tags.
Yeah, lots of
skin tags I've had success with too.
Stories, you know, people have a skin tag no matter where it is. Even in private areas, they have skin tags, and just putting a little bit in, all of a sudden falls off. So
oregano is good for moles. I feel like I've heard that story a number of times. It takes quite a bit of consistency, but I've heard with moles, oregano is what. Be careful just getting it on the mole, dilute it a little bit, that kind of thing. Don't get it, on the sensitive skin areas, but right on the mole. I've heard from a lot of people that it takes months, but they'll fall off. It just they'll turn white, and then they'll fall off. But it takes every morning, every night, consistently for quite a bit of time. But I have heard that story more than once about that being successful.
That's fantastic. So thyme is like a twin to oregano. So thyme is in here. So guys, try it and let us know. Jamie?
I was just going to say that sometimes a mole might actually be a wart, I think, which is why oregano works really well for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if it's like a black wart. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, sometimes it's just something unsightly, and then you think, God, I just put this oil on. It's not supposed to be there, so let's do some apoptosis. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Hello, Jade.
Hello, Peaches.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Okay, you brought up something. I'm working with this lady, and I'm trying to help her. And one of the things that did come up was the frankincense because she's dealing with the Crohn's. And so this was like right on target for tonight. And you were saying, I just wanted you to go over that again when you was talking about that section. You said, take the DDR prime. How should she take it? Because she said she had it for a while.
Yes. All right. So let's go back to the digestion. 2 to 4 soft gels a day. So you can say 1 every few hours, 2 in the morning, 2 at night, something like that. Okay. And then add the digest zen too. So same with digestion, 2 to 4 soft gels of the digest zen. Okay. Just help with that. And then I would strongly advise to use Terrazyme. Okay. Terrazyme to repair. Yeah. So, you know, people have had problems like that for a long time. I can bet you like the tissues in there are raw, are damaged, and, you know, for sure that it needs that repair.
Yeah. She's taking harsh medications. She gets nauseated. Sometimes she can't eat. And, you know, she says she's just sick of taking medicine.
Yeah, for sure.
So I told her, I'm sure I have an oil for that. So I gave her some information and stuff like that, but I wasn't really sure. So this is like an answer to prayer, this class here.
Awesome.
And I just started using this. I started experimenting with DDR Prime and the skin tag thing. I have one, so I'm going to use that on there. So to see, you know, what happens.
You know,
so thank you.
I've had a friend who said she had 3 generations of Crohn's. And then when I talked to her, the very first couple of months when she started using oils, then she said, oh, Jade, they also found out that I have cancer in the gut and they want to schedule surgery. And I told her, I'm like, okay, you know how I told you to use this and this and this? And the DDR Prime wasn't out yet at the time, but I said, start on your Lifelong Vitality Pack. And I said, I want you to try to take the GX Assist as often as you can. And GX Assist has that thyme and that oregano. So it does very similar things too. It does that cellular repair, it does that antioxidant and the apoptosis. So, and she did that. And when they went in, they cut a small section of her intestines out. And then they discovered that she doesn't have Crohn's anymore. It was 7 months of it. And yeah, so when she was out and recovered and everything, one day she was talking to me and she's like, Jade, I just can't nap anymore. And I said, who has the pleasure of napping every day? And then she's like, well, when I had Crohn's, I used to nap because I couldn't, you know, go on. And I'm like, wait a second, you don't have Crohn's anymore, remember? She's like, oh, yeah. And I said, I guess you don't need to nap and rest up.
Wow.
She's like, I can't believe it because it's 3 generations of this and this. And I thought it was genetics and I said, no, just gut rot. You cleaned it out. Okay, let's move on.
That's right. Yeah. Well, this is the same situation with this lady that I'm working with now. She was saying that, you know, people in our family has had this disease, but I guess they didn't know what it was at the time, you know, gut problems, IBS, and things like that. So yeah, she feels like her diet is limited and she tries. So, I mean, who wants to live off of oatmeals and bananas, you know? So I want to help her. And you just gave me some powerful tools to do just that. So I'm going to help her. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Fantastic. You know, it's just part of the diet of your family too. It's not just DNA. If your family, like this one girl, she used to eat, animal crackers and a glass of milk. That's her lunch. And I thought, what? If you weren't sick, you would be sick. So, they just have to, they may need to change in a lot of ways. And she did change in an emotional way too. So that's great because it leads us on to the next thing here. So DDR Prime is the oil of transformation. All right, it's very important, this oil. So for people who feel debilitated, discouraged, toxic, stuck, and burdened by family patterns. So you can see, you know, with Petra saying, hey, that lady, she's got family members that have that Crohn's and over year after year. It's burdened by their family patterns. If they just do the same things, of course they're going to have the same diseases. All right, so according to the Emotions and Essential Oil book, the positive emotions that we can adopt is repairing, balanced, transforming, rebirth, vitality, healthy, and open to change. Okay, So I see that in a lot of us, and this is why this oil is fitting for everyone, young and old. Okay, so like we were talking just now with the Crohn's. If we have years and years of negative, unsupportive, and self-defeating thinking, it will cause an immense build-up of problems physically and emotionally. Right, so these people, they need to take it every single day for the next few years. And I give people an example. If you have, for every year that you've had candida, they say that you need to give yourself at least 2 months to heal. So don't expect to heal within 2 months. You're good to go. If you've had 10 years of candida or the Crohn's or any of those gut problems or arthritis, that's also fungus problem, guys, then give yourself at least 2 months. So be sensible about it. It took a long time for you to be this sick. It'll take a little bit longer to heal. So give yourself 2, 3, 4 years to heal completely. So just keep at it, okay? So DDR Prime helps you let go and simplify life. All right, let go and simplify life. So these people, they get very overwhelmed very quickly. All right, and if you feel that way too, you need to kind of consider using DDR Prime to help you cleanse out things. Remember, lemongrass is one of the oils in here. What's lemongrass about? Hoarding. Okay, hoarding negativity, right? Feeling unsafe. So you will identify the beginnings and the ends of chapter of your life. So sometimes we look back and we wish and we wish and we want to hold on to all of these things, and we just keep carrying more and more. This oil helps you to say, hey, let's close that chapter, all right, and accept my new chapter. And then when I'm done with this, I'll accept the next. And then just to keep life simple, all right, let go of the old. And you'll be able to let go of negative relationships, negative thinking patterns, negative cultures, negative habits, and negative fears. Okay, of course, fears are negative. So it allows you to feel more protected. Okay, it's got that frankincense, right? And yoli, okay? Those are protective. Clove is very protective. And it encourages you to transform your life no matter how far down you've fallen, right? So here is a beautiful blend for diffusing. A lot of us are using the DDR Prime for internal and topical, but here's a blend for you to use.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is probably the first I've heard of using DDR Prime in, aromatically.
Yep, because Jade's crazy.
She is, but smell it. It's a fantastic smell.
Mm-hmm.
I was just smelling that. Is like, would that be something I'd diffuse? So, yeah,
yes,
absolutely you can.
So if you smell it and you think, ew, ew, yuck, yuck, then you're not allowing yourself to be accepting of change. So if you like the smell, it says, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready for this new thing. So for rebirth and renewal, 2 drops of Forgive to 1 drop of DDR Prime. You can diffuse it in your diffuser or cup it in your hands and then just inhale it, all right, because it helps you get out of your own way. So this means we need to push through the new barriers that we've been afraid to break through. You know how you keep coming up to that and you go back again. You come up to that, you go back. This is it. This is time to go through that, all right? So
that's a really great blend. You know, the Forgive is about letting things go. So, yeah, good job, Jade.
Well, it wasn't me, okay? It just came to me when I was doing this. I've been using DDR Prime a lot this whole week. Every time I do a call like this, I use it for the whole week. And then I ask, what more do you want me to talk to you, talk about you? And, it taught me lots. So humility, faith, and hope as we embark on new changes. And you know people that you think, I don't think she'll ever change or he'll ever change. She's set in her ways, his way. Well, this can give you a little bit of a push towards change. So the affirmation that you say to yourself to help change your false beliefs is something like this. As I connect to my divine path, I allow myself to be reborn, renewed, and filled with hope again. Okay, so this oil that you're smelling, reborn, renewed, filled with hope again. You're not going to allow yourself to be discouraged and down. Okay, I love and forgive myself fully as I love and forgive others. Okay, no longer holding on to silly things that we have, at the back of our minds. So this is it. All right, so I'll pause here. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think?
Side note, is this on your website? Is this still
Yes.
what we're going on
Yeah.
today?
JadeBaldwin.com
Okay.
/DDR
Okay.
Prime.
Yep.
And
Okay.
this
Just
video,
want to make sure I could print this out later.
yeah.
Good question.
I'm going to say, yeah, last week when I was at Mum's house, I was telling her to use the DDR Prime, and then I said to her, "What are you cooking? It smells really bad in here." Like, I just thought there's something that was really stinky. But actually, I accidentally touched a DDR Prime and touched my nose. So it followed me all day. And I don't know, for some reason, it smelled really bad to me. And I think possibly is to do with the family burdens.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because she's always dumping her problems onto me, and I feel like I need to fix it.
You need to carry it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I thought I needed to fix it. And then I'm usually, good with every oil, but that day I was just, the smell was following my nose around and I couldn't wash it off.
Well, it's a good thing that it stuck on your nose.
I don't know. I'm going to smell it again and see if I like it.
So that was a good clue to help you change, huh? Alrighty, so let's go. Is it better?
Oops. Oh, my nose again.
Stuck on your nose again.
No, it's
What
not
is-
good. Yeah, it's fine.
Website again where we can find all
Okay.
Oh, Claudine. Yeah, JadeBaldwin.com /DDR Prime.
Yep. So you just need to
So
do
you can just go to JadeBaldwin.com. You can search for it. It'll just be one of the first posts there.
Yeah, it'll be on the
you
front
can-
page because it's a new post.
And the recording of this video will be there as well. So
Yep.
we really like these essential oil
Spotlights.
spotlights. So we've done we're going through
All of them.
almost all of them now.
Mhm.
So we have
Yeah.
a few
Wow.
months to go.
Can I request?
I like the smell of DDR Prime. I think it's cool. It's clean smelling to me. I just can't get with the, I think, spikenard, bergamot, and vetiver. Like, those three are like, oh goodness.
All
I
right.
better mix them.
So everyone's different, right? Their journey is different. So you go ahead and make friends with bergamot and the other one. Sorry, Jamie, did you want to say something?
Yeah. Did you do one on Lizia and stuff? Like, I would really like.
Yeah. You know what? I'll go through Lizia after these blends because not everyone can have Lizia.
Yeah, for those of you that are in the United States, Lizia is an oil that's available in Australia.
It's in the blend, the Amari.
Yeah, it's in the Amavi blend.
Amavi.
But we've decided we'll go through all the oils that are available to everybody, and then we'll go doing some of the
special ones,
special oils.
Yeah.
No,
State.
Amavi smells so manly.
So many. Yeah. All right, let's go to the spirit side of DDR Prime. So if you've been following my calls and things, everything I do is body and mind, and then we look at the spirit side.
I just want to say if there's anybody that's joining us for the business call, we'll get started in just a little bit.
Yes, we'll be.
But you may have missed a good call, so just keep on listening.
Yes, it's a good call. So with our spirit, I know we're talking about the DNA and the cells and things, but don't forget the undeniable link to the spiritual level. And like I said, we have to choose to be spiritually connected. Okay, so if we are spiritually blind to what it is, the misalignment spiritually, then we'll just keep prolonging our pain and our discomforts to the point where you have to keep using the oils for just symptom management, and you don't want that. You want to really fully change, and the DDR Prime encourages you to change on this level as well. Okay, so change is possible for everyone, even small changes. Like Jamie was saying, the grandma, you know, I think she's stuck in her ways, but maybe, and she's discovered a little bit of comfort there. Okay, and so some people might feel that it's impossible, but you know, because it's just because they've wind themselves up so much and things have piled on too much over the years. But I choose to believe that God has sent us here on earth to change. He wouldn't have sent us here if that wasn't possible. So I would take that perspective. But you know, what makes us remain stuck or debilitated? Think about that. Okay, it's our own fears and our resistance to change that causes us to be stuck. So someone's drawing on our screen. Our false belief that we are not enough is what dams our progress, okay, because we're here to progress. So when you feel this resistance inside of you, you think, I know I should be doing this and this and this and changing this way, but I feel this resistance. I don't know why this conflict is happening inside of me. Then take that as a clue that you have some sort of false belief about not being good enough, not being smart enough, not being skilled enough. So basically not being enough, okay? And then so first of all, I would fully be accountable for my thoughts and actions. So just take that and do not instinctively blame yourself, anyone or anything. All right, so that's a good place to start. And then, you know, we identify the false belief, okay? That false belief is I'm not good enough, okay? And we're going to change that. And then as soon as you come up to another resistance, just remember that, you know, you can pass through that barrier. And when it's hard, it's because you're a trailblazer. This is a new path that no one else in your family has ever done, you know, before. So like Miss Chris here, she's pushing through. She's doing something new that other people have never experienced. I mean, her mum's the only survivor that's lived this long for this one disease, right? Just, it's going to be hard, but it's possible. So with that in mind, just remember, sometimes you may have promised your family in the past, and you know that you come to earth at this particular time, you know, to break those chains, and you know the buck stops here, so to speak. Okay, so use that DDR prime to push yourself out, you know, away, so that you can stop resisting, and for your sake, the sake of your family, past and present, you're going to push through and keep pushing through, and you can do that. So this is about transformation, and as soon as you change spiritually, realign yourself, then that change is more permanent. Okay, so this is why we encourage people to change emotionally, because otherwise you'll be using that DDR prime as symptom management over and over. All right, so I added a little bit extra here today.
Bonus material.
This is an important topic. And in most people with inflammation, they use the DDR prime for inflammation. And inflammatory diseases, there's many of them, but one very common one is, you know, arthritis. And arthritis comes in many forms: lupus, osteo, rheumatoid, and what is it? We have fibromyalgia. No, there's so many, but basically they're just, you know, arthritic. And what arthritis means is you've got inflammation to the joints and to the tissues and things. Okay, so I'll show you what this holistic approach means and looks like, so that you can take this holistic approach to your health. Okay, and DDR prime is one fantastic oil to help change the mind, and then help with other things too, cleansing. Okay, so if I follow the numbers, you can follow with me. So if you're holding on to fearful energy, such as feeling inflexible, anxious, angry, okay, you keep that energy concentrated in your head, it robs the rest of your body of its share of energy flow. You see what I mean? So all that energy is concentrated up here. So when, let's go to number 2, when the gut, the gut slows down because, you know, the energy is not shared with that area, then, you know, it becomes a place for candida fungus to overgrow, and eventually the candida can leave the gut. And it's more than just candida, it's other toxins too. Okay, so you can see that we'll go down here now. Number 3 is the toxins and invaders accumulate and damage cells over time. You know, peaches, we're talking about Crohn's, colitis, and that. All right, in the mature candida, fungus grows a tail and leaves the gut, and then it goes to area where the energy is weakest. So pretend it's the elbow. All right, pretend that it's the back or the knees, okay, or the hands. So you experience pains and soreness in certain areas because the body is having an inflammatory response in the areas where the fungus is detected. Your body is looking for a moving, changing target, which is fungus. It's moving and changing, and it's trying to attack it. It's not attacking itself, all right? And because it's attacking that, it has to go through yourself. And so doctors think, hey, you're attacking yourself. And it may look that way, but it's trying to find this fungus, okay? And, you know, if you do energy healing, you find, okay, what's the energy of the elbow? What's the energy of the knees? And you change that way. Where it's manifested is where you need to start to heal energetically, okay? And then number 5, the resolution, how we fix it. We can be symptom management and just use oils and just take it in internally. Yes, that's one way, but that will be still symptom management. It will last a long time. The resolution is intentionally choose to change, to be humble, to be flexible, and then connect to and trust in the divine powers. Okay, and as soon as you can trust that divine power, you let go, and then you start to share the rest of the energy with your body. You see, things flow. Things will work out smoothly. You're more relaxed in the head. Okay, and then the gut has more energy and flow, so it eliminates waste more completely, and then the fungus and the invaders are killed. And when the fungus and invaders are killed, number 7 here, guess what? You experience less inflammatory responses, reduced pain and stiffness, and possibly eliminating that discomfort altogether. Okay, so for me, that's how I just found out, hey, I don't have this arthritis or lupus in my hands and back anymore. It's something that we can heal from, no matter what people say. All right, so that is it for today's call. Anyone have any comments or questions?
Just would like to say thank you very much.
Well,
this was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. All righty. So guys, we'll wrap it up.
We're going to transition to our business call. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. You can download the top 10 uses of DDR Prime, and all this information is at jadebaldwin.com/DDR Prime. And there's also the links for all the research that Jade went through as well.
Yep.
So I'll go ahead and stop the recording and thank everybody for joining us.